Welcome back to the Blackout Zone. We are your hosts, David and Ivan. And today, instead of doing our regular album reviews that we've been doing, it's more of a first impression. And today, first impression is
Taylor Swift and her new album, Evermore, which is also going to be a review, but like you said, more so a first impression because the album hasn't been out enough to dissect thoroughly and see how well it ages and grows on us.
Yeah, because the other stuff we've been doing, it's been more of things that have been released years ago, and we've had time to play it multiple times and pick out our favorite tracks that have grown on us, and sometimes even change our minds on our initial opinions about certain tracks and sounds compared to now. So this is more, it's a review, but it's probably going to be a little bit shorter, not as in depth as we've been doing, and it's just going to be a first impression.
And please don't kill us if we don't like some of the same songs, because these are first impressions. Sometimes songs have to grow.
Well, I think, and if you've heard any of our past episodes, we love everyone that we review on this to a degree, but that doesn't mean that there's no criticism. We love Ariana; she's one of my favorite, but there's tracks that are just not it, and so I guess let's just
dive into it. I guess. Although some things to kind of discuss beforehand is, because the production is so, like, I don't know what the
minimalistic.
Word. Yeah, that's exactly the word I was looking for. We're probably gonna mention some of the same keywords for a lot of the production, but because with this album, it's not really meant to be a massively produced album. It's supposed to be kind of a chill, like, vibe, ambient. Not ambient, that's not the right word. But it's supposed to be more so about
laid
the
back
storytelling.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. This is obviously, I think everyone knows this is a concept album.
Yeah.
And so, sonically and lyrically, it's going to be very cohesive, which is good. It's very good. But
at the same time,
at the same time, that's an inside joke we have. But no, at the same time, it is minimalistic. Taylor wrote all the tracks by herself on this, I think. And
she does credit 3 songs to an unknown writer, William Bowery, who was just a code name for her boyfriend, Joe Alwyn.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so he did co-write 3 of those tracks on this album.
Sometimes co-writing can mean like a simple change, or it could have been that he gave the idea and the story line of the song and Taylor could have actually written it, though. I wonder if he did more than that, though, or if that was kind of why he got a co-writing credit. But the producer is Aaron Dessner for every track.
Yeah, and he's from The National, right? From the band?
Yeah, from the band The National.
Yeah.
Well, I guess let's just dive right in. This album was released just a few days ago, December 11th. And it was a surprise album. I think everyone found out that morning that Taylor was going to release a new album that night. So the first track is the lead single, Willow, and released as the lead single the same day because no one knew that she was releasing anything. So what was your first impression, thoughts?
I really, really like that song, actually. It starts off the album really well. The melodies and the harmonies are really nice. They're really catchy. It's probably the most catchy song on the album, and the production is minimal, like we've mentioned, but it works with this kind of song.
Yeah, I think it reminded me a bit of Ed Sheeran, and the way is that not his name?
I don't know, I've always said Sheeran.
Okay, Ed Sheeran.
I don't know if that's right, though.
Oh my god, we're probably both wrong, but I kind of, after listening to the full album, it makes sense that this was the lead single. It does stand out as probably my favorite track from the whole album. On the reverse side, though, it kind of got my hopes up because the thing is, I'm not a Taylor fan, so I wouldn't go out of my way to listen to her. So when I heard this as track 1, I was actually really excited to hear the rest of the album. I was thinking, oh my god, I might really enjoy the rest of this album. And this was such a high quality song, and even though the production was minimal as you described, the intricacies of the actual melody, especially during the chorus, it was very unique, and it stood out amongst other songs within this type of genre, this laid back pop.
Yeah, and myself as a long-time Taylor Swift fan, I think I've been a fan since like '07, Teardrops on My Guitar. So I really enjoyed like Folklore and this album because they have like that old Taylor, like pre-pop Taylor, but with these songs they're a little more grown. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, they're catchy in the pop Taylor way, but they're produced in a non-pop kind of way. So like it blends the best of like what I liked about Taylor Swift.
Yeah, it's more acoustic. I guess it is pop, but it's stripped down, I guess.
Pop, but strip it down.
Pop, but then make it minimal, but then make it acoustic. But yeah, honestly, this might be one of my favorite Taylor Swift songs that I've heard, and I haven't heard much of her stuff, but I think almost everyone in the world has heard her biggest hits, the singles. I mean, she's everywhere when she releases anything, and the chorus kind of gave me similar vibes as to the way that she sings in, what is that song? Wildest Dreams. And Wildest Dreams, I'm so sorry. Wildest Dreams and Ready for It, I think, is the track I'm thinking of. And she sings these melodies in a very particular way that I think are very fitting for her voice, because I don't think she has that much of range and anything to me that sticks out from her voice. But the way that these melodies are arranged, they're really fitting for her voice, and I wish she did more of it. I think I would go out of my way to listen to her a little bit more if she did this kind of sound.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm always going to listen to her, but
well, yeah,
this song I feel is gonna be one of those songs that is gonna kind of be immortalized for myself as a Taylor fan. That I'm always going to go back to this song as like the standout of this album, and something that I'm probably always going to listen to.
I gave this a 10 out of 10.
I gave it a 10 as well.
Nice. It gave me black and dark brown vibes.
I got gray and brown.
Oh, I think a lot of these are going to be similar because of the laid back. It is ambient. It's a different type of ambient than what we've been talking about in the other episodes, but it is ambient. So I think a lot of these color wise are going to give me the same vibes.
Yeah, I agree. Most of them are going to be like in the gray. But a side note, as far as the music video, I don't know if you saw it. You saw it, right?
No. I don't want to throw myself under the bus. I saw it, and then I kind of got over it halfway.
I wasn't a big fan, but I know that a lot of Swift fans really liked it because of like the little Easter eggs and the story it told. Because the song, I guess, Swift said that it's about like intrigue, desire, and like the complexity that goes into wanting someone, which kind of does show in the video. And yeah, she mentioned like in some chat or video that it sounds like to her the song sounds like it's casting a spell to make someone fall in love with you, which
I can hear that.
It kind of also explains like how I told you there's like a scene where there's like a few people in robes and they're around like a fire and it looks kind of ritualistic.
Yeah,
I guess that kind of makes sense why she chose that kind of scene.
Yeah.
But I guess moving on to the second track on the album, Champagne Problems. I'm so Mexican. Is it champagne?
The Champagne Problems.
Champagne Problems. And this is one that was actually co-written by her boyfriend Joe Alwyn, aka William Bowery. What are your thoughts on the song?
I thought it was good, relaxing. It was more laid back even than Willow. Willow's already laid back, but this was even more, just slow it down type of vibe, and it was a little bit more emotional, I guess, lyrically, and the way that the melody sounded.
Yeah,
it was the piano was nice. I thought the piano, I mean, there's a lot of piano on this album, but the piano was nice. I think it's something that I wouldn't normally go out of my way to listen to, but I tried to rate these songs in the context of what they are, because we've done Ariana albums, and a lot of the times we rate it based on her vocal ability compared to we've done Nicki Minaj, and we do it on her rap ability or her ability to switch between genres. So I think everyone needs to be kind of ranked within their own artistry. Everyone is unique. I know we haven't released the Britney episode yet because we recorded that, but when we rate that, obviously I love Britney and she's my favorite, but I'm not setting her to the same standard as Ariana vocally.
Right.
So when it comes to that, I hope it makes more sense. This was actually one of the better tracks for me. I actually gave it an 8 out of 10.
I gave it an 8 out of 10 as well.
Wait, I just realized you didn't even describe. I just talked over you and you didn't describe what you liked.
That's fine. I can talk afterward. Yeah, no, I mean you pretty much described the song perfectly, and I agree with you on as far as how we're rating these songs. And it's kind of funny that this is like the third artist that we've talked about, and like Ariana had like vocals, Nicki was like about production and rapping with like the production, and here it's more so lyrically is how we're, or at least how the album is intended to be,
right?
Like critiqued.
It's more poetic, I guess.
Yeah. So yeah, and then this one, it's kind of funny that her and her boyfriend sat down and wrote a heartbreak song, because this song is about like heartbreak.
Well, I wonder if, because sometimes you share stories with your significant other about past relationships, not necessarily because you're stuck on your ex, but just because, oh my God, I can't believe I did X and Y with them, and that was dumb, and they did this and they broke my heart. Maybe something like that happened, and that's where the idea came. I was like, oh, that could be a good song to turn into.
I could definitely see it. And because they were most likely like quarantined together, they probably had a lot of time to really dive into a lot of this stuff. I got gray vibes.
This gave me same thing. It's black and dark brown, but it's flipped. I guess it's more dark brown than black, and the other one was black and dark brown.
This is sad that I actually totally understand what you mean by that.
like the main thing, and then the rest of it is more background and accents.
I feel that.
On to Gold Rush. What did you think about it?
All right, I'll start off then. I actually like the song. The production is one of the more, I don't want to say upbeat, but it's a little bit more upbeat compared to the rest of like some of the other songs. Yeah. It's it's singing about somebody dreamy. People think that, I don't know why, like people like to speculate, and they said it was about Harry Styles because he has a song called Golden and he's like beautiful and shit. But I don't really see her writing a song about Harry Styles at this point of her career when that happened so long ago. Yeah, I mean, I have a different theory about what this song means, kind of.
What do you think?
From what I've read and stuff, but she mentions this woman, Dorothea, a lot. And the song is like somebody singing about somebody else who's like beautiful and, has like gold, kind of referring to their hair. I kind of think that she's referring to somebody singing it about Taylor Swift, if that makes sense. Because this whole thing is like a story, and it's like a little town within like different people and different people's stories within that town. Mm-hmm. And so like somebody in that town is singing it about Taylor Swift. If that makes sense.
That I get you. Well, this was actually one of the other standout tracks for me, like the most memorable, aside from Willow. So, the song, it actually kind of didn't sound like a Taylor song to me. The intro and the outro, it sounded a lot like this section of the bridge of Ghosting by Ariana Grande. Like the way it was sang, produced, vocally. I don't know what the hell she was saying because I didn't memorize the lyrics. I'm terrible at like listening for lyrics. I'm usually listening for the melody and production, but it gave me that same exact vibe that Ghosting did. And the chorus, it reminded me of something that Marina would sing, formerly Marina and the Diamonds. But it was kind of more dreamy but also cozy, if that makes sense, like a hybrid of the two.
I didn't get cozy from it, but to each their own.
I think it's sections. I think because the song, it had so many different. It was one of the more unique songs on this album because, like, for example, the intro doesn't sound like the rest of the track, and then the chorus doesn't sound like the verses, and I think that's why in my mind, I think that the dreamy comes more from the intro and the outro.
Yeah.
And then
I do agree that it does sound different from. This is like one of the 3 songs that sound the most different, I think, on this album.
Yeah.
But I gave it an 8.5.
Oh, that's close to mine. I gave it an 8.
This is like the most we've been close to each other consecutively.
Weird. You know, it is weird because you're a Taylor fan and I'm not a Taylor fan. I'm not a Taylor hater. I want to make that clear. But like, I don't go out of my way to listen to Taylor. And so it's weird that this one is this. I think this is the first episode where one of us is a fan of the person, but the other one's like meh about him.
Yeah, because so far we've really talked about people that we're both pretty decent big fans of.
But I actually gave this an 8. Did I already say that?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why we were saying.
I gave it a gold and brown.
I actually gave this more of a lavender and yellow.
Lavender and yellow. Huh.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't know where the lavender came from. But yeah, on to the next track. 'Tis the Damn Season. So this one is kind of an interesting song. I think it's supposed to be kind of like her own take on a type of Christmas song, right?
Oh, really?
Because the song is talking about like 2 people who are in town, like respectively within their own families, and like they end up sleeping together, like, and they know that's not going to go anywhere. They're just kind of hooking up. But yeah, it's a decent song. Like the melody is very like pop Taylor, but without the pop production, and I really like that.
Yeah, you know what? It gave me, like how you were saying earlier, it gave me some of the early Taylor vibes in this song.
Yeah.
But that was kind of a double-edged sword for me because it also made it a bit more bland compared to every other track up until this point. Like Willow was my favorite probably, and then the other 2 had very unique elements within each track. And this one was a little bit more simple for me, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, I don't think everything has to be experimental or quote unquote unique or whatever, but no, it's just not one of my favorite songs. It was hard for me to even like remember it right now as we're talking about it because it didn't stand out that much to me.
Actually, it did stand out a little bit to me because it's like I like how like the guitars were kind of nice and chill, and then some kind of like drum kicks in a little bit towards like the middle of the song, and I don't know, that little drum I think made it stand out a little bit, but I think for me it was mostly the lyrics because it reminded me of a Christmas song, but it's not like a kid-friendly Christmas song or whatever.
Right. Yeah, and I think for me, I mean, I enjoy good lyrics, but I think the song sonically has to really draw me in, and then I pay attention to the lyrics. Like if it's an okay song or a not so great song, I can probably enjoy it because I love all types of music, but it's more like background music. Like this is something that I would imagine. I honestly, I don't know what the lyrics we're talking about, but I would imagine this like playing at Starbucks while I'm waiting in line for my drink in the background.
I think most of this album you can throw in any Starbucks.
Well, I know we're going to get a little bit off topic by me asking this, but I want to know now, you as a Taylor fan, because see, from my perspective as just someone who's not into her and, knows much about her besides what I hear on the radio or whatever, do you think she's evolved as a songwriter? Because the thing for me is I'm like, sometimes I hear shit and I'm like, she's singing about the same shit.
I think these 2 albums really did, like, what's the word? at least appear more evolved as a songwriter, or has more matured as a songwriter, because I didn't like Reputation at all. And even though a lot of people did like it because of how she wrote songs on there, but I feel like this is like her peak as far as like storytelling.
Interesting. Well, this song I ended up giving a 6 out of 10.
I give it an 8 out of 10. And it's gray.
It gave me yellow vibes.
Huh. I don't hear yellow at all. If anything, maybe like white, but not.
I think I'm imagining. I know this is gonna sound weird, but I think a lot of this album, for whatever reason, makes me think of Straw.
Like hay.
Yeah, like hay.
I mean, like I can see that, I guess, because it's like folklorian or whatever, like folksy.
Yeah.
And like country, not country, but like out in the country, you know.
Right. Like not in the city. And so it gives me like, not necessarily hay as in what horses eat, but like a straw hat. That's why I said straw, like more, I guess, whatever that is, the difference.
Interesting. All right, let's move on to the 5th song.
Tolerate It. This one actually kind of sticks out in my head, and it was more of a grower. I've heard this album maybe 4 times total. And the chorus, it reminds me of another song. What song is it? The way she sings "Tolerate It" reminds me of something about "But I'm Only Human." Like, what song is that? No.
Oh.
It's like a slow song. Anyways, but it reminds me of another track, and I think that's why it started to grow on me. It gave me more country undertones, kind of like what you were saying, I guess.
Yeah.
About the last track. And it was another decent piano ballad. It's just another one of those tracks that I feel like if it's in the background, I would probably enjoy it as background music. But I mean, it's a cohesive album, so a lot of the things start to sound the same to me. I put this on the same category as "'Tis the Damn Season."
Okay. For me, I actually really like the song, but because again, I dove into the lyrics, and I thought I just kind of really like the story that it's telling, because like I mentioned earlier, she said that it's kind of based on stories of people within like a town or something like that. So this one's about like somebody in a marriage or like in a relationship who isn't like being appreciated, and they admire their person so much, and they're always trying to impress their partner, and then it's not received back. So that's kind of where the chorus comes from, where that their love should be celebrated, but you just simply tolerate it. So I don't know, I really like that. And it went well with like it's a basic piano production. There's nothing special about the production, but the lyrics are nice.
I ended up giving this track a 6 out of 10.
I gave it a 9 out of 10. I really liked it.
Damn.
I get gray again here.
I get brown and yellow.
You and the yellows.
Yellow is a new lavender for this episode.
All right, number 6. Nobody, No Crime, featuring HAIM. I don't know how to say that.
Something like that.
So this is actually, up to this point, is the first song that I don't care too much for. It's still a decent song. It has like that soft country rock production. It's a song about cheating, and then it kind of turns into like a murder story, which from what I read, she really likes true crime documentaries, and so that kind of inspired, I guess, the writing on this song. It's about a guy who cheated on his girlfriend and murdered her, and I guess her friends are trying to prove it or something, and he ran off with the mistress. But I don't care for it. I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? This was one of the more, I guess, I know we've been saying country for some songs, but this one felt actually like more country, the genre, not country as in what we were referring to earlier. So for that, I kind of Enjoyed it, not as much as Willow or anything else like that. It gave me kind of those old school Taylor vibes. And you know, I'm gonna sound so rude. I feel so bad. I legit feel bad. I don't want to sound mean, but I think the song would be so much better because there was nothing wrong with the song itself, but her vocals, they're not bad, but I feel like they have no soul. Like they're just kind of there. Like it sounds to me, especially on this track. Like I said, her vocals are fitting for tracks like Willow and Wildest Dreams and that sort of sound, that type of melody. I think it really complements her voice, but this type of track, I feel like it doesn't. It sounds more like she recorded this as a demo for someone else to record and put their oomph to it.
Yeah.
It's missing like something vocally for me, and I don't mean range. I know Taylor's not like about range. She's not Adele, but that's not what I mean. I don't know. It's just missing some of her personality in the vocals for me.
Yeah, honestly, I couldn't dive too much into this song because it just didn't catch my attention a lot. But I can still enjoy it if I'm driving and I'm not paying too much attention to what I'm listening to, and this is on, like I'll jam to it.
Yeah,
and it's still not a bad song, and the story isn't like horrible lyrically. It just didn't.
I'm kind of mad. I'm just kind of mad because I feel like if she had put a little bit more oomph and personality into her vocals, I would have really enjoyed it. But because it is what it is, it's a 6 out of 10 for me.
I give it a 7 out of 10. I still enjoy it. It's one of the just more, I don't know, I guess I don't want to say boring, but kind of boring songs on the album.
Yeah. This gave me more Yellow and Baby Blue vibes.
Oh, Baby Blue, switching it up. I got gray and a hint of red. Maybe because of the murder. I'm thinking red.
On to the next track, Happiness.
Your phone autocorrect.
You know what? Yeah, I know. I wasn't trying to say penis at all. You know, I was trying to say it like Happiny, the Pokemon, and it came out wrong.
Like Big Teeny?
No, Happiny, the Chansey pre-evolution. The baby Chansey.
Why did I forget there was a Chansey pre-evolution?
Well, it wasn't until Gen 4, so maybe that's why. But
that's my least favorite region.
Wow.
Anyway,
we're fighting after this. But no, you know what? This was actually one of my favorite instrumentals as far as the tracks on this album.
You know why? Because it has a little bit of synth.
Yeah, that's probably why. It probably just sounded unique compared to the production on some of this. Just like on No Body, No Crime, the production for that sounded unique in its own way. And like I said, I wish vocally Taylor had done something different with her voice. And see, Happiness, though, her voice, she sings a little bit more deep. And I think that's also another strong suit for her. When she sings in like a deep, raspy voice, it sounds pleasant. It sounds more unique and like Taylor. Compared to when she's singing in kind of like a neutral tone, it just sounds like it could be, you know, many other girls that can sing decent singing that track. But this, like, even though I don't listen to Taylor, I'm like, oh, that's Taylor. That I can recognize the voice, and I think that's why I like it a little bit. It's like almost breathy for a Taylor song.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree. It is one of my favorite songs on the album as well. I do like that soft, like slight synth production that it does have. It does make it stand out a bit. I lyrically also really like it. I think it's one of the more emotional songs on the album because even though it's called Happiness, it's more so about somebody that is looking forward to recovering from a breakup, but the breakup is so fresh, you know, they're still hurting, I guess. Yeah. And fun fact, I guess, that this is the last song she wrote for the album, and she didn't finish the song until a week before the album dropped.
Damn, me with anything at life, procrastinating.
Same.
You know, this song, I ended up giving an 8 out of 10.
I give it an 8.5.
Oh, nice. Still pretty lined up for the most part on these.
Yeah, I think just maybe one or two that were a little slightly different.
Yeah.
So track number 8, dorothea. So I like the song for what it is, but the production is definitely one of those that does not do anything to really stand out for me. And lyrically, it tells another story where it's a girl who left her, little town to go become like a Hollywood star. And this is the one that people thought was maybe about Selena Gomez. And I don't know. I think that this Dorothea person is supposed to make more appearances on like lyrics, because I really think that she's the woman from Gold Rush, and I think she's the woman from 'Tis the Damn Season who went back home and slept with somebody.
Damn, my ADHD doesn't let me pay attention to lyrics that good. I think also as I've gotten older, I'm more of an asshole and like less emotional, and I don't connect with tracks like that unless, like I said earlier, unless they draw me in like with the sound first, and then I can pull from the lyrics. Like Ariana does that a lot, like with Ghosting.
Yeah.
Since I've mentioned that track, I'll use it as an example. But this track was not one of my favorites. It kind of falls in line with, 'Tis the Damn Season and Tolerate It for me. It's just not that much of a standout track.
Yeah, it's not. Unless you're like listening to the story, it like as a track and melodies and production and vocals, the song isn't that special.
I will say I like the guitar riff during the chorus though.
Yeah, it's just, but like I said, like it's literally like a the same production sounds that we've heard up to this point. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, to be fair though, I did kind of look into the album a little bit more, like as far as lyrics and stories. So, and it did kind of, once I read all that and I listened to the album, it did make me like appreciate it a bit more.
Yeah, and for me, I didn't do all that, but I did listen to the album more than once, because I originally wanted to do just a once, but on first listen, the album kind of sounded like the same every track. But the more that I heard it, the more I was able to kind of tell the songs apart and hear the differences between them. And but yeah, this one was not one of the ones that really stood out to me still. It was more mediocre. And you know what? None of the tracks so far, and even for the rest of this album, none of these are bad. They're just, like I've been saying, more background music type stuff. I gave it a 6, which is not like the best score, but it's like it's not bad. It's not something that I think is
passing
trash.
In high school.
It is.
I gave the song an 8. I do still like the song. It's like, even though there's nothing that special about it, because of the lyrics, I do like hearing that story.
Yeah. It's another one that gives me yellow and baby blue.
What the heck? I think I put gray like on almost every song. I get gray, but sepia tone kind of.
Oh, fancy.
Like the old school like flip phone filters.
Yeah.
Sepia. All right.
Coney Island featuring The National. That's cool that, the guy that produced it got his band on the track. This song, you know what? It had some string instrumentation, and I don't think we had heard that on some of the other tracks before this. And for that, it was good. It was, well, honestly, that's kind of the only thing that stuck out to me. It was still more of like background Starbucks type music. It's just, I didn't really connect to it. I don't know if you maybe did lyrically.
No, this is one of those songs one of the few songs that I couldn't get into really. It's not a bad song, like you said. It does have like a soothing production, and I know that it's kind of about I don't know, somebody in Coney Island without their partner or something. I don't know. I couldn't get into these lyrics that much either, but I did like whoever's the lead singer of The National. I did like his contrast compared to her voice, because like her voice is soft and he had like a deeper voice, and when it comes in, it kind of does grab your attention, because he's just like, but yeah, it's a song that I'll listen to, but not one that I'll like think about on a daily and be like, oh, I'm gonna go listen to this song.
Yeah, like more if you're listening to the album or if it comes on shuffle, that sort of thing.
Yeah. But I still gave it a 7. It's still a decent song.
I gave it a 6. See, and it's not bad. I think 6. There's a lot of 6s on this for me, but that's also like the lowest score that I gave anything, which again, it means it's not necessarily bad. It's just like you said, I wouldn't go out of my way to listen. But if it comes on, I listen to a lot of Pandora more than I do actual like Apple Music or Spotify. But if it comes on that, I'll probably listen to it because it is kind of chill and background music.
Yeah. I think there's only one other song I rated lower than a 7, which we'll get to.
Wow.
So we move on to track number 10, Ivy. This one was pretty good. I did like the song. It's another one kind of, I don't know. From when I was reading, it seemed like people had different opinions on what the song meant. I think it's about falling in love with somebody else, like while you already have a partner. Because she says my hand fits into your hand, but it's promised to another. Kind of sounds like. But people said that it's about her, that people thought she was confirming that she was married. Because she said something about drink my husband's wine, but I think people forget that the song is in the point of view of other people, not of Taylor's.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But I do really like the melodies.
I didn't even know that until we started recording this, that the songs were supposed to be from different people in the town. Yeah.
Oh, side note, Coney Island was also written by her boyfriend.
Oh, cool.
But yeah.
For Ivy, it was another kind of dreamy ambient vibe. It actually made me think more of like sitting by a campfire for some reason.
You know what? I think about somebody being inside a house with a fireplace on. So similar.
Oh my god, that's so weird. Yeah, what the fuck?
That's funny.
I gave it a 6 out of 10.
Well, I gave it an 8 because I really like the melodies.
Nah.
I think
it was giving me black and yellow.
This one was pure gray for me.
Pure gray, black and yellow for me.
But even though I did see like a fireplace on, I saw it in like a gray tone, like no colors.
My life. No, yeah. For me, black is because I imagine it's just pitch black outside, and then yellow is kind of from the fire. It's like a dimly lit fire where it's about to go out. That's what I imagine.
Let's see that. It's me and you.
I think it's me. Cowboy Like Me. This one, you know what? It had it was another one that had a melody that reminded me of a really old song. It's probably from the 80s, and it's been bugging me ever since I realized it, because I don't know the lyrics, and I kind of know how it goes, but not enough to like for me to demonstrate. And then I'm not that good of a singer anyway, so then I'm like, I need to figure out what track it reminds me of, and maybe we'll put it as like an annotation or something, because it's bugging me. And because of that, it actually kind of made me like it more than I originally was going to give it a score. It was kind of cheesy, but it was calming.
Yeah, I did like the song. I will say though that this one kind of went a little bit backwards for me, because I think when we were texting on our first impressions of these songs, this one I liked a lot. And as I heard it a little bit more, I still like it, but the hype kind of died down a bit for me. Somebody, Marcus Mumford, did backup vocals for the song. I don't know who that is. But just a little side note I found. I like that it's kind of like a soft country production, but it has some of the elements of the production of the rest of this album mixed with like that soft countryness. The story's cool. It's about like two people who are kind of shady people, I guess, and they're like independent people or like con artists, and I think they're like falling in love with each other or something. I gave it an 8 out of 10.
I gave it a 6, and I was originally gonna give it honestly like a 5, but because of that melody in the chorus that sounds like an old song, it kind of gained a point for me. And again, it's not bad. It's like background music. I would leave it on.
Yeah, I think I originally was probably going to give it about a 9, but yeah, I couldn't do it.
Damn.
I had to knock it down because I overplayed it.
Oops.
Overhyped it. Long story short, this is a good song right here. I think it's the most pop production in the album so far. And I think even it's probably the second most catchy song on the album after Willow. What else did I write? So she kind of, this is kind of, I think, a more personal song that is about her. And maybe not so much somebody else, because she's kind of talking about how she's like fell from the pedestal and had a bad time. And she talks about how, long story short, I survived and I'm all about you, which I think she's singing to her new boyfriend or whatever. And I found some memes on the internet where I guess that she mentions that she was with the wrong guy, like mentioning a rebound, and apparently it's about Tom Hiddleston, Loki.
Oh shit.
Yeah, but I don't know. There's no confirmation, but people assumed there was, and they made a lot of memes about it. It was funny.
Oh my god, I forgot that they were a thing. Like Taylor's been with everyone at this point.
Yeah, there's a laundry
she
list
was with
of
Loki. That's how she becomes a better songwriter.
There you go. Living your art.
For me, this song was one of the better songs. It was like another standout track. Probably like you said, the second catchiest compared to Willow. And it's kind of what I was hoping we'd get more from this album. I don't mind the slower tracks and all that, but I was hoping to get a little bit more of this. I think it fit her voice very well. The melody, it sounded like a very classic Taylor sound to me, what I imagined Taylor would sound like. And it would just, it had nice contrast between like chill and kind of upbeat sounds within the song.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's why I liked it, because I prefer slower paced Taylor, but I do like to once in a while hear her throw in something like this in an album. And yeah, it was nice. It reminded me of something that would have been on Lover, which I don't know if you've heard yet.
No, I haven't.
It's also one of my favorite albums as far as like her pop stuff. I think Lover is like her peak pop album, not Red.
Well, never mind. We're not gonna talk about other albums, but I gave this an 8.5 out of 10.
I gave it a 9.5. I really liked it. And I got yellow for this one.
I got yellow and black.
Oh, nice. Actually, I got yellow emerging from gray.
Emerging from gray? I really wish I could see what's in your head when you say that.
Well, because I kind of feel like this song almost could have been the closing track on the album, because the album is mostly talking about sadder stories and heartbreaks and stuff. And then this is kind of more like it starts off as her kind of putting herself down and talking about like negative stuff. But then at the end, she's like, yeah, but long story short, I survived. So this could have been like the closing track. And I think that's why I hear yellow, because like the whole album's kind of gray. And then I see the yellow emerging from the gray.
That kind of makes sense, actually. but
it's not the last song.
Oh, no, it's not the last song. You know what? It's so weird. It is close to the end. I wonder... I'm not going to get too sidetracked, but there's 2 bonus tracks that are going to come on the physical release only in a few weeks. And it's weird that it's only 2 bonus tracks. I wonder, she should have closed with this and then done the bonus tracks for the rest. Normally it's like 12 tracks for an album. Yeah,
I don't know. I think that's the one of the things that did bug me once I thoroughly listened to this, is that I really feel like this should have been the closer.
Yeah. Well, I was going to move on, but before I move on, I think that I'm calling it right now. Long story short is going to be a single at some point.
Yeah. If it's not her second, at least her third single.
Yeah. She'll probably slow it down for the second to switch it up and then go to this or something.
I agree.
On to Marjorie. Am I saying that right? Now I'm like so paranoid.
I think so. I haven't heard this word being said, but I think it's Marjorie, like Marge Simpson, Marjorie.
Marjorie Simpson. So, it wasn't it wasn't one of my favorites. But it was a little bit more distinct than some of the other tracks that I haven't been too fond of. I think there's like some tambourine in the background that I picked up, and like I like hearing random shit like that in the background, especially when it's not on the rest of the album, because it makes it more unique for that track. But it was just more of that Starbucks music for me.
Yeah. So it kind of sounds almost fucked up because I also didn't think this song was that great. I do like it, but this one's probably maybe arguably the most emotional to Taylor, because it's about her dead grandmother. I don't know why I said that weird. About her dead. I was like grandma and then mother and grandmother. It's like a tribute to her because her grandma was an opera singer who inspired like Taylor's love for music, I guess. And the song she writes about her grandma, like that she didn't stay dead, that like referring to her grandma's memory, and if I didn't know better, you were listening to me right now and you were still around or something. And I guess she even featured some of her grandma's vocals in the background.
Oh, cool. I didn't pick up on that, but
I didn't hear it either though when I was listening to the song. So I don't know.
I'm gonna go back and listen now.
But that being said though, even because it's like a tribute song and it's about somebody that's passed away that's close to you, I haven't really had anybody pass away that's close to me, so I don't relate to the song as much.
Yeah, same.
So I gave it a 7.5.
I gave it a 6 again.
Yeah. Anyway.
Why do you look so disappointed in me?
No, not in you. Just I think in like the song in general. Like I feel like I want to like the song more because it's like such an emotional song.
Like what it means, yeah.
But it just doesn't resonate with me.
Wait till I die.
Oh. I'm play 3.
You're like, no, it's
I'm play 3 a.m.
still not
on
gonna
your
relate.
funeral.
On to Closure, and you know what I can describe this track as?
You're gonna say Massive Attack?
Yes. How did you know?
Because I feel the same way about it.
This is the Massive Attack of this track. The Massive Attack by Nicki Minaj. I mean, this is the Massive Attack of this album.
Yeah, it's definitely my least favorite track on the album. Like the production's, it's kind of messy. It doesn't do much for me.
Yeah, this is I think out of all the tracks, this is my least favorite because even though the other stuff I haven't been too fond of, for the most part, it's nice music to have, even if I didn't go and select it to just have playing. But for this track, I feel like I would skip it. This is like the worst track on the album. It kind of takes you out of that zone because even though there's other tracks that can go more upbeat or more country in this album, this track is just, I feel like it was experimental for the sake of being experimental. I didn't think it was good experimental, and simple is good sometimes, and this was probably one of the times where it should have kept simple.
Yeah, I agree. It does. They probably kept it because it is also within the storytelling. It's talking about, I guess, reaching out across the sea that you put between you and me. Probably somebody that moved away from that town and, I don't know, long distance or whatever. But no, I couldn't get into that song very much. It's not a bad song though. It's just
like I feel this album has a certain vibe going for it, but I feel like this takes you out of that vibe almost.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I would still listen to the song if it was on, but I definitely wouldn't go out of my way to listen to it. And even if I'm listening to the album, there's a chance I'd probably skip it unless I was in the mood to listen to the whole album.
Yeah.
Which is kind of similar to how I felt about Massive Attack, where I didn't think it was a horrible song, but it wasn't good.
Well, that song's not on an album, so good luck.
I still gave this a 5.
Yeah, I gave it a 5 too. This is my lowest rated song.
Yeah, mine too. Oh wait, did we talk about the color?
Oh no, you know what? I just realized I think we've been skipping the colors on some of these.
We skipped it on Marjorie.
Oh, did we? I knew we skipped on something, but this track gave me Black and Yellow.
Black and Yellow. I got like gray, staticky gray though, not the good kind of gray. Like because it's a
like
messy
TV.
production. Yeah, like TV static.
Yeah.
I gave Marjorie gray, by the way.
What did I give Marjorie? I gave it Black and Yellow again.
Huh. Anyway, so last track on the album, Closer. Evermore featuring Bon Iver. Am I saying that right?
I think you are.
I don't want it to be like Bon Iver or something, you know?
It probably is.
I'm traumatized from the Tuvalu situation. Yeah, this one was actually co-written by Joe Alwyn as well. It's the last song that was co-written by him. I do really like that basic piano on this. It's like really melancholy, and it's like a song that's about a breakup. My favorite part on the album, on the song though, was when Bon Iver comes in and like the piano starts getting a little bit faster, like the production. And I kind of like that. I don't know. It almost reminded me of "Love Goes" by Sam Smith in a way.
I haven't heard that track.
It's a good track, but like the piano starts getting like faster, and like the production seemed almost similar in a way. And the song is kind of like, it reminds. I don't know if you heard "Exile" by Taylor and Bon Iver. That was on the last album. It has like a really similar sound to this.
Yeah. What rating did you give it?
I gave this a 9 out of 10.
This track, I gave it a 6 out of 10. It was in line with everything else that was mediocre for me in the album.
Really? So I gave it a 9 out of 10. I don't know. I really like the song. I really like Bon Iver's like input in the song. I liked how the piano gets a little faster. Apparently, Alwyn plays the piano on the song. Her boyfriend. But side note as well, or something that I guess some fans pointed out, was the album starts with the lyrics, "I'm like the water when your ship rolled in that night," like on Willow. And then in this song, it kind of closes it out, and it says that, "And when I was shipwrecked, I thought of you." Or I guess it was referring to the same story, or I guess it closed out the story. But yeah, that's pretty much the album.
This gave me gray vibes.
Oh yeah,
for once.
I got gray as well, plain gray.
Nice.
Any last thoughts?
No, I think that's it. I think that was our first impression of
Evermore.
I'm sorry. Oh my god, I was rushing to like look up the title, but I couldn't. This was our first impression of Evermore. Maybe one day we'll revisit it after a year or two, after we have some time to compare it to other Taylor work. We do want to review some of the older Taylor albums, so especially for me, it'll be my first time listening to probably like her first two albums. And I've listened to Red and 1989 one time each, but I think I need to revisit them a few times, and then we can do some episodes about those too.
Yeah, especially 1989, which is very iconic.
Yeah, I think that's her most well-known work, and single-wise, I think that was like her peak as far as mainstream popularity, but I'm really excited about that and all the other Taylor stuff. What's next after this? Because we record stuff out of whack, but... Oh, Glory is next.
Glory is next, and that's going to be a 2-part episode.
Oh my god. Yes, so we're trying to keep these short, so... Make sure to follow us on our social media. We're trying to be more active on there, so follow us there. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you. We'll probably maybe upload some bonus episodes on YouTube soon, but stay tuned. Listen to our YouTube for that bonus content, and then follow on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well.
Yeah, do all that.